on the set. Can we please have quiet on the set?
Awesome! I came to play. There's a price to pay. Time for you to get down on your knees.
All right, welcome everybody once again to another live edition of the War Report here on YouTube, brought to you by tagmeadate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for professional wrestling fans. Find your tag team match on tagmeadate.com. Roster of over 20,000.
Actually, we're up to over 50,000.
I heard that. Okay, so I was going to ask you about this.
That's crazy.
Because I saw this on Facebook, and I know you can't always believe everything you read on the internet, so please enlighten me.
You can.
We are officially over the 50,000 mark.
Woo! Hey, oh, hold on. Kat would yell at me. She's not here, but she'd still yell at me if I didn't.
And
All right.
I'm happy to report that we're averaging about anywhere between 2,000 and 8,000 impressions per day. So things are moving
glorious.
along. Oh, it is very glorious.
Wonderful.
And I am happy to also report that the Android app is coming very soon. We are about weeks away, and then we'll be focusing on Apple. But yeah, so the apps are coming. It's looking pretty good, and yeah, moving right along. So things are good.
It's all good news. If anybody in the Carolinas is interested in a glass top foosball coffee table, which looks very nice, Eric has one for sale. I'm gonna admit this right now, Eric, and please try not to think less of me, all of you. But I looked at it very quickly and had to scroll back because of the glass top and the glare. It didn't look like a foosball table at first. To me, it looked like he had like collector's edition lightsabers, because all lined up and mounted. And I was like, oh shit, I'll get that coffee table because it's lightsabers. And then I looked at it again. I thought it was dildos. But then I went back to lightsabers. And then I looked at it for like a third. I finally figured out it was a foosball table. I had to put my glasses back on. It was a whole thing. So I just couldn't. If you see the picture, it's clear now what it is to me. But at first, I was very confused. But Eric, it's a very nice table. I would take it off your hands, except it's 12 hours away.
Yeah.
It is really cool though. If you're looking for one. Wow. How long ago did you get that?
6 years ago. It was it's like for my whole bachelor pad deal when I moved to North Carolina, but now it doesn't go with anything. So,
what, you upgraded all of your furniture?
I'm getting new furniture because I'm getting a new place soon. So, yeah.
Upgrading from the bachelor pad to something. What do you upgrade? What are you doing? You're moving from
Bachelor pad 2.0.
2.0, huh?
newer and better.
See, I didn't know if you had a little sweet brown sugar, as Dusty Rhodes used to say. Maybe you were moving in with. I don't know.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment. Well, hey, I don't know, Eric. There's a site. I just thought of it. It's called tagmeadate.com, and it's a dating site. Wrestling fan. Oh, good. I'm glad. You should register. Full circle.
I believe you would get some sort of lifetime subscription too, because I know a guy.
Right. We know it, just like on Pawn Stars. We know a guy.
As a matter of fact, ladies, if you're looking for me, my screen name is you.
You just made the list.
That's my screen name.
And if you just made the list of his heart. There you go.
The only thing
really should try and find some girls to do a dating game thing one Tuesday night.
Yeah,
that would be fantastic.
We need to do that.
Ryan, you up for that?
I think Ryan would be up for it.
The only thing Tag Me Date's missing is Michael Hayes singing our theme song.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's something. Oh, man. I can't say it's impossible because the guy is still alive and he seems like a funny guy. So I'm sure if you ever met him at a convention or a happening, it's a happening, as Gorilla would say. But if you met him at something, I'm sure he could give you a little tagmeadate.com. You know, he'd give you a little, yeah, there you go. It would be great. What is? I'm hearing a lot of jingles. Like
Yeah.
somebody's very
Jingles
popular.
and clicking.
Yeah. Ryan's playing Diablo. No, wait, shit, he's gone. He was the only one that got that joke. Those of you out there who aren't old, Diablo was a point-and-click adventure game, and all you'd do was right-click to attack as you moved, so you'd constantly hear clicking. Explaining the joke no longer makes it funny. But this is the War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com. We're not going to talk about 30-year-old video games. We're going to talk about everything that happened in wrestling. Well, not everything, because we don't give a shit about most of it. But there are some very important things happening in wrestling. First of all, Liv Morgan and Enzo Amore are no longer a thing.
Well, rumor is he cheated on her.
And also, the other thing I saw was there's a very cute picture of Marty Scurll and Deonna Purrazzo in front of, I think it's the Eiffel Tower or something in Paris. It's very cute. But also, I kind of think when I had my hair longer, I looked like Marty Scurll, so that still gives me a shot if Marty Scurll gets hit by a bus or something. Cheers.
There you go.
No, so props to them. But yeah, what is going on with this? I don't ever gossip, but this isn't going to show up on Total Divas, so we have to address it.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this. I mean, it was another great shoot type promo that Miz did on Enzo.
Oh my God, this poor guy! They got the freaking shovel out every single week.
But but they used the real life shit that people know about, so it made it more of a shoot. Miz is one of the best at delivering that kind of promo. The whole segment was great. Even Enzo, like his rebuttal and everything else, even though he got destroyed. But that's what we expect from Enzo.
I would absolutely hate that guy in real life, but he's entertaining on TV, so I don't care. He's one of those guys that I'm sure it's like when you go out with him to a bar, it's cool for like the first hour or two, and then there's a point where you're like, oh, Jesus Christ.
Just calm down.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man. Could you just? It's 3 a.m. Can we just bring it down? He also apparently gets heat talking to people about, like, he talks loud on his phone on the bus, which also, hold on. I don't care if it's a charter bus with a bunch of celebrities on it. More so, you shouldn't do that. If you're on a public bus or a city bus and you talk loudly on your phone, you need to die. That's terrible. That's just. I hope they swerve the bus and hit into a pole and you fly out the window. It's just a dick thing to do. Sorry to bus drivers out there. Preemptive apology. But no, the bus driver would be fine. Everybody on the bus would be fine except for the guy talking on the phone. He just gets ejected out of the bus, and then we can move on with our day. But that's a dick thing to do. And then he's talking about, I guess while he's on the phone, how like the money he's making and like how he can't wait to get out of the business. It's more like, and listen, I understand if it's a job to you, but there are a lot of guys back there who it's not just a job to. It's like a career. It's a calling. Yeah, it's more than just the money. Which I'm completely hypocritical because I love Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash never once looked at this business as a calling. He looked at it as a job all the time.
Right.
Or Brock
does.
Right. Brock Lesnar, same thing too. But if they had a different way of approaching it. Enzo seems to be just if you want to be a reality show star, you want to be on TV hosting something. I understand having aspirations to do other things, but just while you're there, could you at least pretend that you want to be there? Just pretend.
Until you're Brock.
Yeah,
I do believe that there's a part of Enzo that wants to be there and be Enzo. You know what I mean? I don't think it's all just a job to him.
First of all, if he leaves, that name is done. He can't use Enzo Amore.
And then you can't become a rapper.
Right, you can't really – he can't have his – yeah. Or if he goes on a reality show or a talk show or whatever, they can't use the name. He really is tied to the name at this point, so he's got to stick around and –
anything about the gimmick outside of –
He originated that gimmick on the Indies, but it wasn't Enzo Amore. It was whatever his indie name was. And he kind of originated the gimmick, but it was the hair and the beard thing and the weird style. Like he really was the icing on the cake. The finishing was NXT.
Yeah,
which is the point of NXT. You know, to
How
take
could you
that.
cheat on Liv Morgan? I just want to get
Okay, yes, thank you. We get back to the main point here. How do you do what?
How?
Unless
What an
it's
idiot.
unless it's with I can't even think.
I would
She's
never
a
cheat on
Jersey
her.
girl.
Yeah.
Unless it was with the two Australian broads at the same time.
But she
What
has a
about two
pig.
Japanese twins?
That would be
Yeah.
iconic.
I'm just picturing Xavier Woods sliding in the doors. Somebody say iconic.
The lighting's bad in
sorry,
here. Bring in
Xavier.
some lights.
I also heard that one of the competitors in the Mae Young Classic, her name is Renee Michelle. She is marrying Rockstar Spud.
Oh,
Well,
well.
that's cool.
Today.
How does she feel being a foot taller than her husband?
Right?
Like, if they ever had an argument, she could probably just pick him up and throw him.
Seriously, how short is he?
He's a little guy. I want to say he's 5. Like, listen, okay, I can't do this to him, but I want to say he's 5'2". I got to look this up.
He looks
5'2".
shorter than like Ray at this point, you know?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right, so I could be very wrong here, but I'm going to really undersell his or oversell his shortness, however you want to place it. Wikipedia, 5'4". Oh, good. I'm not that far off. Okay,
Yeah,
5'4". Man, that is a tiny little
small.
Englishman. And then did you guys see the funniest part about this whole Liv Morgan Enzo breakup thing? Liv Morgan put something up on Twitter, and then Tyler Bate jumped right in.
Oh, yeah. He was
And
right
I'm
in
waiting. Can somebody aside from me make a mustache ride joke for Christ's sake, please? Because it can't always be me making. But I mean, that's perfect. Good for you, Tyler. You're 20-year-old with these gigantic quads like a goddamn watermelon. Good for you, buddy. Go get it. Live the dream. He's living the dream. 20 years old. WWE contract. Oh boy, we need a bell. Ding.
And who's that girl that Zack Ryder is dating now that he's not dating Emma anymore?
I don't know, but she won't get over either.
Some
Right?
randoms.
It's terrible. I don't know. Zach.
Give Emma a chance.
Is she an NXT girl, or? Oh man, this Google fill in. The Google autofill is so sad for Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder girlfriend 2014. Zack Ryder girlfriend 2015. Zack Ryder girlfriend 2016. Is he the Taylor Swift of that division?
I think so.
Oh boy, Laurel Van Ness. Oh,
okay.
It is from GFW. Oh, we got to get into all that juicy shit too. GFW may not be GFW for much longer.
Yep, there's
Thing is a mess.
hell again.
How do we come around to this every 6 to 8 months?
Because I keep saying it. I said it when this happened and they got with Anthem and all that. I said this shit ain't gonna last like anything else. And sure enough, here we are. It's not lasting. They're done.
It's just sad.
We said this a year ago. We were sitting exactly where we were 1 year ago saying these exact same words. Remember that.
Yeah.
They're like that nugget that you leave behind in the toilet bowl that just won't flush.
I am not a nugget.
I'm a winner. Woo!
But for real, there was a point where they were going to be bought out by Nazis, and they were going to be bought out by the Smashing Pumpkins, and then they got bought out by an owl, and now who the fuck knows? What are we doing here? Why can't somebody aside from Vince McMahon figure out how to run a wrestling promotion globally? New Japan started to figure it out. Ring of Honor, they sold Ring of Honor to a television distributor, so by proxy they figured it out. TNA, Global Force, they never ever figured it out. They had Fox Sports. There was a time when I could go after in high school 1 year. I could go in and turn on to Fox Sports, Fox Sports Net, I think it was then, and watch TNA on like a Thursday afternoon or something like that. It was a lot of fun. And then they went dark for a little while and they switched to Spike. But in between, this is how fucking dedicated of a fan I was to this promotion. You had to download a Real Media. Remember Real Player?
Oh, yeah.
You had to download a Real Player, Real Media file that would live stream, no joke, on a 15-inch laptop. The screen was this fucking big. And I could watch Impact as two little pixelated guys flipping around on something this big. They switched to Spike, and then I think they fucked up the Spike thing because Russo got hired back. Like, so many what ifs with TNA. It just makes me so sad. I had high hopes. A lot of people had high hopes. There was a point in about 2008, 2009 where they were poised to fucking take over the world.
They were so good. I mean, the days of the Asylum with the 6-sided ring and the Ultimate X and their X Division. I mean, it was just all stuff that was different, and it separated them.
Yeah.
You know, and then you brought Hogan and all them in, and they took away the 6-sided ring, and they got all the creative control. And it was almost like WCW all over again, and they just can't recover. And it's a shame because it's not the talent. They have great talent there.
Well, it shows because now fucking half the original TNA originals, as they call them, are all in WWE.
Right.
Bobby Roode, Eric Young, Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, et al. I mean, those guys literally came up. They were only notable. Xavier Woods, only notable TV exposure. I mean, Ring of Honor, sure. But TNA, that was how they made their name for years. And
look, it gave Christian the second life in WWE. It
gave Christian, oh man, just remembering the classics with Abyss, Full Metal Mayhem, all those, the cage match. Oh,
when Kurt Angle was there, when the Dudleys were there.
Kurt Angle had one of my favorite matches ever with Desmond Wolfe.
See, and me, the best matches, in my opinion, were Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle. That series of matches. There was one match where they literally, Joe would have his submission on, Angle would reverse it into his, and then Joe would reverse it back to a different submission. And this just went on for 5 minutes. I mean, it was just, it was such an incredible match to watch because they executed it perfectly. And
I was there for Lockdown 2008 in Lowell, Massachusetts. And the main event was the cage match between Kurt Angle and Samoa Joe. And Kurt Angle came out with no wrestling boots on. He was taped up, and he was taped up like he was fighting in like a Muay Thai match. And he came out in MMA trunks because this was right around the time they were rumored that he was going to go to the UFC. So he came out cut to the fucking gills, dressed like an MMA fighter. Joe came, and it was very much as close as you can get to an MMA fight in a professional wrestling context. It was a great match. I remember that whole show was a lot of fun. 8 cage matches is a bit much, but yeah, that was a classic main event. I have to go back and watch that, but it was Samoa Joe's time. He had been right there for a lot of it, and they had the infuriating part was when he climbed the ladder in the King of the Mountain, and he almost had the belt hung up, and then he gave it to Kurt Angle or whoever the fuck it was. It was stupid. So you were waiting for Samoa Joe's crowning moment as a fan of TNA, and that match came and he won the title. It was amazing, and it was a great atmosphere. It was one of TNA never really sold out a bunch of big arenas, but that was the Lowell Memorial Coliseum was a fairly decent sized place, and they sold a lot of tickets. It was a fun night. If you have a DVD or a download of it, check it out. But yeah, that Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, that was right in the sweet spot of their the whole TNA existence. It was with those guys. I mean, even Rhino had a great TNA career. Three Live Crew, BG James, and
RVD.
Conan.
RVD.
RVD with the world's worst theme song until Big Casses came along. I mean, what was that? Boom, 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 boom. Rock that down. Boom, 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 boom.
That was bad.
Oh, fucking show. And they couldn't even say the F word on the broadcast, so it made no sense.
I think he was trying to rip off the whole one of a kind.
Yeah, but I mean, they have. Dale Oliver does a fine job with the TNA themes, but I don't know if you know this. He basically just does a Jimmy Hart and rips off a popular song. Christian's theme was One Last Breath by Evanescence. So bad.
Shout out to the Joe AJ Daniels triple threat matches.
You know, the only thing that was
those
good
were
about
classic.
that theme,
Yeah, those are some of the best matches ever.
the only thing that was good about that theme is even though they couldn't say the whole fucking show, the crowd did it every time.
Oh,
They
yeah.
did.
Absolutely.
I was also a big fan of the Main Event Mafia.
Yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. Sting being a heel for the first time ever, pretty much.
Yeah.
King
More
Booker
successful.
before it was King Booker.
King Booker.
Wasn't that that was after King Booker?
Wasn't it after King Booker?
It was after King Booker
It was, but,
But then he did the Coming to America voice.
because he came back and only did he even wrestle in WWE
Yeah,
afterwards?
he did a Royal Rumble.
No, I mean actual.
Yeah, no, I don't. You might be right. It might have been post King Booker, but he did the Coming to America voice. It
Not
was
the classic punch kick struggle in the corner.
the best match ever between the girl from Survivor and Charmel. Do you guys remember that awful abortion of a match?
I think I blocked it out.
More
Good, you
specifically,
should.
a certain entrance.
Sir, which entrance was that?
The girl from
Survivor.
it was her.
The whole thing. Jenna Maraska. Boom. And actually, I think, she was dating Ethan from Survivor at the time, and he had cancer. And she only did the thing because he had cancer, so she gave the money. Wow, I remember all that. Please, somebody verify. If I'm lying, send an email to askthewarreport@gmail.com. I'll let you guys fact check that one for me. But I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
That's impressive, if that is right.
I don't know why I remember these things. I should remember things like people's names. It took me maybe 3 weeks before I stopped mentally calling you Ashley.
Me?
Yes, in my head. I never once called you Amanda. Or I never once wrongly called you Ashley, but I would do it in my head. And I go, no, wait a minute. So I could remember names, but instead I remember Jenna Maraska was dating Ethan from Survivor Africa or whatever the fuck it was. Jesus. But no, you're definitely Amanda, as I now do remember. See, but it took me
You
a
got
while.
the memory this time.
I probably lost the finish to a La Parka match from '97 now, but I remember your name. Oh, who am I kidding? The match ended like this. He'd be on top of the chair. That's it. I love La Parka. Don't even get me started.
L.A. Park.
That whole thing, if we ever do an episode dedicated to that, just the idea behind who owns La Parka, and was it the wrestler, was it the promotion? Now there was two of them, then there was an evil one, and it was like the Power Rangers. They just kept coming out with different La Parkas. But now I think the original La Parka is back with his name. I hope. I don't know where my air conditioner just kicked on and it startled me. So I was reacting to it. But what else is on the docket for today?
Well, how about Shinsuke Randy Orton last week? And that finished to the match, because that match was fantastic.
Amazing.
Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know if I want to see him wrestle more matches in WWE against more opponents, or just have him go back to Japan and kick people's heads off there. But I just need to see him wrestle more.
That's always fun.
Yeah, he needs to be not wrestling Jinder Mahal. Like,
he needs to
mean?
beat Jinder and win
the Singh brothers, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, the Singh. It was wonderful to see him kick the shit out of the Singh brothers, but realistically, what does that do for anybody? The Singh brothers were going to get beat up anyway. It just fill in the name as to who was going to do it, and so it doesn't make Shinsuke look like a champion, and it doesn't make the Singh brothers look any worse. It happened. It existed. It was a thing that they did. He needs to be wrestling fucking big name talent. If he was in Japan, imagine if he was in the G1, he would have been wrestling Okada, Omega, Ishii, Tanahashi, Tongaloa, Tama Tonga, Toro. I mean, I'm going right to the bottom of the fucking Juice Robinson would probably still be a good match. Juice Robinson, I'm sorry, he stunk when he was in NXT. I never liked him. He stunk. He's really good now in Japan. The former CJ Parker, Juice Robinson, more props to him. So what I'm saying is, I would like them to not waste Shinsuke Nakamura. He's like when.
But dude, I think they're setting him up for him to beat Jinder for the title right now.
Yeah.
It's gotta. I mean, it's gotta be happening now,
twice.
especially.
He's not losing twice to Jinder.
He'd be dead.
No.
He might as well just go back to Japan. But funny enough, I don't want to say the whole reason Jinder kept the title, but one of the reasons Jinder kept the title was to walk a UFC fighter to the ring, and that got shit canned because of the hurricane.
Right.
Yeah, Jinder was supposed to leave Florida to go accompany this guy. The fight was in Canada. Couldn't leave due to the weather. They're going to take the belt off him. It's got to happen. Again, props to Jinder for doing so well. He
did not do well.
Listen, the guy, he gets a sticker. You know what I mean? Like when you're in like kindergarten and like somebody claps the erasers.
He gets like the participation award.
He did it right, so he should be proud of doing it. There is room for improvement. I can't hate on the guy because he was put into a position, so I can't say it's entirely his fault.
Vince, I'm with you. I think he did all right.
I think he did all right. I mean, he fucked up the finish to that Shinsuke match because he couldn't put on his own finisher. That's pretty fucked up.
It's kind of rough.
Yeah, that's rough when you don't know how to apply your own finish. And actually, you know what? It might not have even been his fault because Shinsuke's hand was kind of way out in left field, so he couldn't really hook it to get him around the neck and whatever.
Well, Seth Rollins did a pretty shitty pedigree.
Oh, speaking of Seth Rollins, there's this discussion online about Seth Rollins' knee. Not the injury, the actual finisher. It doesn't have a name. Last night, Michael Cole just called it knee. No modifiers. Nothing else around it. He just said knee! Exclamation point. That was it. What are we doing?
I'm sorry.
What are we doing?
Knee.
Knee. The Knights are saying knee. He
Knights are
needs a
saying-
shrubbery. He should call the shrubbery knee. Okay. Wow, I just dated myself with another old ass reference. All right, everybody. But that's it. That's a shitty finisher. The knee. It looks okay, I guess, but it needs a name. It needs. That was like when Daniel Bryan didn't have a name for his knee. They can't figure out names for the finisher knees.
Kind of when he threw it out of nowhere in the match with Cena.
Yeah, and they didn't know what to call it, and then he kept doing it, and they still didn't know what to call it, which is always wonderful. They called on the internet. They were calling it the Solid Knee Plus.
Solid Knee Plus.
Yeah, because Triple H said he was a B+ player, so they call it the Solid Knee Plus, which is pretty good. But yeah, Seth Rollins has a terrible no-name finisher right now. Somebody called it the Pain Maker because it's a ripcord. Like I don't know. It just needs something.
It does need something.
The Burning Knee. I mean, that's not as good, but it's Burn It Down. I don't know. Inferno knee.
The final knee down.
The final knee down.
I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out at the moment.
Submit your best names for Seth Rollins. I almost called him Tyler Black. Ooh. Submit your best names for Seth Rollins' knee finisher to askthewarreport@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Let's see the responses we get.
real quick back to Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yes.
I read one of the reasons that they brought Corey Graves also to SmackDown. Kinshasa.
Oh, that is wonderful. I'm glad that's happening.
And Corey Graves is still the only one that calls him the King of Strong Style, not the artist known as Shinsuke.
Fucking artist. I hate that shit.
I hated that.
I don't quite understand it because he's not trying to be Prince. He's trying to be Michael Jackson. And Prince was the artist and Michael Jackson was the king.
Mm-hmm.
What we do? And aside from the fact you can't have the artist because you've already got the Velveteen Dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
You
basically
got 2 Prince gimmicks now. What are you gonna have? You're gonna have Goldust come out and be Purple Rain?
He's the artist formerly known as Goldust.
He got his paint. Okay.
Prince Iakea.
Okay, this is funny. Apparently Bray Wyatt is feuding with anybody with face paint now. Is that the thing? He's gonna go out and just wipe the face paint
Hold
off
on.
every like.
Hold on, I have to interrupt you because you brought this up. Did I miss Goldust's face turn? is he now replacing the Big Show where week after week he's gonna flip flop or just
Yeah, he'll be back as heel soon.
Yeah, they never resolved that thing for SummerSlam either. That was kind of an issue. He was scouting a new protege or whatever it was, and they never resolved who that ended up being.
I didn't know that was happening.
It was a couple vignettes, and then nothing.
I got to admit, I fast forward through a lot.
That's okay.
Thank God for the DVR. I'm sorry. Thank God.
Monday Night Football is back, so I know you don't watch football, but I mean, I have priorities.
I don't even think we get Monday Night Football here.
You don't get.
Is that possible? That should be illegal.
You don't get the Argonauts versus the Stampede, eh? You know, this game's technically harder because it's 10 yards longer to get the touch to 60 yards. You only get 3 tries. You only get 3 downs. It is. It's actually CFL's a lot fucking harder than the American Football League. And then I love that they have the goalpost right in the middle of the fucking field. It's not at the end of the end zone. It's right at the start of the end zone, dead fucking center, and you can run a pick play. You can have somebody like hide behind the fucking goalpost and run out and catch the ball. Oh, thank you, Canada, for wonderful inventions.
I've never even seen a CFL game.
Oh my goodness.
But apparently, I think that's the only thing that Toronto wins. I think.
Well, they did. I mean, 94, they won the World Series, I think. Was that it? 94?
No, that was 92 and 93. 92, 93. Back
94 was the strike.
How do you not know that? Everybody knows.
Because I'm from America. Only the Yankees count.
Amen.
Sorry.
Everybody was a Jays fan in 92 and 93.
In Canada, that was a thing?
What?
That everybody was a Jays fan? Did they all bandwagon on?
Yeah, Joe Carter had the Grand Slam walk-off win for the World Series.
Shit, I do remember that now. I mean, I was.
Touch 'em all, Joe.
Do you really want to know, Amanda? Do you really want to know how old I was when that happened?
Yeah.
I would have been like 6.
So yeah, I was 6. No.
I do, and I
went crazy with that tagline.
I vaguely remember that. I mean, I remember watching it, and now that you tell me, said there was a Grand Slam, I remember thinking back to that particular game. But like, man, you just brought I wouldn't have remembered it unless you brought it up, because it was a very early baseball memory for me.
It's like Toronto's proudest moment. So.
That's me for Touch 'em all, Joe.
Touch 'em all, Joe is Toronto's proudest moment. Wasn't the completion of the CN Tower or any of the Rogers buildings or any of that stuff. It was Touch 'em all.
No, Touch 'em all, Joe.
Oh God, that just.
All right, so this sounds like a silly question to ask somebody from Canada, but I assume you've been to an NHL game if you've never been to a CFL game.
Yeah, yes, I've been to plenty of NHL games.
What's your team?
Ooh, I'm gonna get hate for this, but it's Montreal.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
See, I'm a Whalers fan. Wait, shit, that doesn't work either.
An Oilers fan?
Whalers. They haven't been in the league since '95, so I don't know.
I'm
Well,
No,
you're
completely new.
hockey, obviously. I'm showing my lack of knowledge.
You're not a Flyers fan?
No,
not a Penguins fan?
Penguins.
Penguins. Okay, yeah, there we go. So Flyers. Now, how do you feel about you lean towards Pirates rather than Phillies there, Ryan? Is that how you lean?
I don't follow MLB much.
Ah,
Football and hockey.
nice. Well, that was a nice
I'll
little break
watch
from
baseball.
Yeah, I like baseball, man. People kind of shit on baseball and they say it takes too long to watch a game. I enjoy baseball.
I prefer watching it live, though, like in person.
I definitely would prefer being at it. If I'm watching a baseball game, I would like being at the stadium. There's something to be said about sitting at home and relaxing, but yeah, being at a stadium is nice for a baseball game.
Yeah.
Especially Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I haven't been to the.
Especially the Sky Dome.
Oh, the Sky Dome is badass.
I gotta go there. That's one place I've never been.
I did the tour of the Sky Dome. It's pretty cool.
It was awesome.
I went to the Tropicana Field. That one's a dome.
Where's the Tropicana Field? Where's that?
That's in Tampa. Is that the one? I went to the one in wherever the Tampa Bay Rays play. It's an indoor stadium, and it's very weird because I've been to like where the Phillies play. I've been to Yankee Stadium. I've been to a couple baseball fields in my time, but it was all that AstroTurf stuff. There was a dome, so you couldn't see the sun. There was no wind, no elements, no bird. Like it was very surreal. It was like baseball in the middle of a shopping mall.
See, our dome opens. So if it's nice, it's open,
That's an
and if
advantage.
it's raining, it's closed.
And you can get a hotel room.
In there.
Yeah, and you can watch the
That's
game
awesome.
from your hotel room.
So
And
if
they have a
rest-
Hard Rock Cafe that overlooks the stadium, too.
I would
Yeah.
love to get the hotel room and then push
Sure.
my butt cheeks up against the window and hope that they saw it on TV.
that would be if WrestleMania comes to Toronto, that's where they would do it.
You get it definitely would, and then you could get.
They're about
Could you
to
imagine
then.
the hotel room cost for that?
Whew. It would be
I think
crazy.
Canada needs another WrestleMania.
They're overdue
Yes,
for.
we do. Yes, we do.
I'm as selfish as I am to want them to stay in the States, so I don't have to buy a passport and all that shit.
But think about it. Then your ticket price would be 30 to 40% less. Everything you buy in
Good
Canada
point.
would be 30 to 40% less because your dollar is so much more valuable.
That is
So-
wonderful. I guess I'm gonna have to change my tag me. Steve, do you have tag me dates search preferences in Canada?
Yeah?
Okay, good. Because then if I marry a Canadian citizen, I get all the rights and benefits of Canadian citizenship, so I could retain dual
Free
citizenship.
healthcare.
Double-
There you go.
Break your leg, just cross the border.
Oh man,
Where did it happen? Well, I just slipped on a patch of ice outside of the Tim Hortons. It's like, and they're like, oh, we get it. Here, we'll fix your leg. $0. Hey.
I was getting some Tim Hortons, eh? And out of
Yeah,
nowhere,
I was just getting
Nice.
20 Timbits.
that walloped me good.
we had
Wait,
was he Irish? We had two Tim Hortons in Connecticut, and now they're closed. They were very good though, but they are closed now. I enjoyed
So,
them when they were here.
I wanted to bring something up,
Yes,
especially we got about 20 minutes left.
go for it.
Braun fucking Strowman
Oh,
manhandled Brock
it was
like he
glorious.
was a teddy bear.
Yeah.
He's so much
Brock.
bigger than Brock Lesnar.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, the no sell on the Suplex City and that whole segment, bro. Braun Strowman is leaving as champion. I am 100% convinced Brock loses now.
That
Here's
would be
the other
great.
thing too: Brock is not scheduled to be a part of any pay-per-view now for the rest of the year.
I
Yeah,
hope
he could be
does.
taking some time off.
Mhm.
So, I think Braun leaves as champion. I think Braun leaves as champion, and Shinsuke leaves as champion on their respective pay-per-views.
Listen, Brock wrestled 5 matches this year. He's tired.
And he showed up to 3 Raws and just
Right?
stood there. So it's
That's
a lot.
That shit's exhausting.
It is. You gotta,
Custom.
like bounce a
There
bit.
and bounce
There
back and
for it.
forth.
Poor
think-
beast.
What does he look like? A slave or something? Jeez.
I know, gosh. Well, first of all, doesn't he live in like Saskatoon now? He lives in them somewhere deep in the middle of the
I
woods in
think he lives
Canada.
in like Alberta.
He lives in the middle of nowhere and survives on elk.
He shoots and kills his own food.
And then he has to ride one of the elks that he hasn't killed yet to the airport. So it's a whole process to even get him there. That's why it's only 3 raws a year.
No, we ride moose here, not elk.
You ride moose.
Well,
the
that's
elk.
because he's Brock. He needs a elk.
Yeah, obviously he's so much bigger. He needs the elk. He needs 2. He needs to be on the elk, like when Jean-Claude Van Damme did that split on the 2 airplanes in that YouTube video. But Brock, yeah, I think there's a very good chance, especially if what you're saying is accurate, that Brock Lesnar's not scheduled for any more events this year. We could be looking at a new champion, Universal Champion on the Raw side. I would be perfectly okay with that. And I think Braun is a throwback to the days of Big John Studd, and even kind of a Hulk Hogan-y guy, because Hulk Hogan in the U.S., I know his Japanese matches are different. Please don't email askthewarreport@gmail.com to tell me. I already know. But in America, Hulk Hogan wrestled a very stripped-down style, but it was very popular. And Big John Studd was a big guy that wrestled like that in that era as well, and he was over as fuck. And now Braun, for all intents and purposes, he's a babyface, and people love it that he just he smashes things, and people love it. So why not tap into that?
Braun Strowman is a hybrid.
Yeah, he's
and the fact that he's as agile as he is for such a big guy, I mean, he's the total package.
Abyss
he's everything Vince wants in a champion.
Kane and Abyss and The Undertaker kind of set the standard for athletic big guys.
Yeah.
And Braun's past that, I think. I mean, he doesn't dive, but why the hell would you want him to dive? Everything else he does is amazing. And he has the strength to pick up a guy like Big Show and safely put him where he needs to be put, because the guy needed hip surgery. So they really had to trust him with that spot to do it, because that could have gone wrong about 12 different ways. He's a hybrid kind of guy. I think he's a really good throwback to like a strong 1980s babyface. If he can get that intensity that he shows in the heel stuff into a babyface promo, I think he's fucking money. He's already money, but I mean, that would just be like little kids. They could sell little beards and like the muscle shirt thingies like they do for Cena, but instead it's for Braun. Like I could just see that catching on, and I'm not finished with you is such a good fucking, like, he could turn that into whatever he wants. They could do a KFC commercial. I don't know, but it could be like the KFC commercial. He could be the fucking Colonel, and he could be eating, and he'd be like, walk away, I'm not finished with you yet, and he keeps eating fucking chicken. I mean, it would be wonderful stuff. And
to think he was a Rosebud.
He was a Rose, and he was a Wyatt. He was the black sheep of the Wyatt family who stood there and did nothing. Literally
talk about taking what you got and running with it.
He's the only Wyatt family member that turned out okay.
He wasn't as in shape back then either. He lost some weight, some muscle, and boom.
Yeah, because he was. Go ahead.
He just posted a photo to Instagram, and he's got like a 6-pack and everything. It's crazy.
He's fucking shredded now because
he was in those strongman competitions too.
Right, but there's a different. It's a more practical form of bodybuilding. Like they don't bodybuild for aesthetics. Bless you. They bodybuild for strength and to be able to pick those things up. So they actually do have a lot of fat because the fat actually helps them. You know, with the way that the fat burns.
Well, they're going to throw around baby
I mean, you need the energy and you need the mass. Like you can't just have the muscle. You also have to have the mass to counterbalance. So he took that weight. He was still that shape when he was in the Wyatt family. He converted that into like lean muscle and into a more aesthetic form of weightlifting or bodybuilding to get where he needed to be. Which also benefited his ring work, because if you're that big and puffy, I mean, you can't do it. You can't really lift like regular thing. Like he couldn't wipe his own ass. I'm sure. To be. gross. But I mean, like, just think about, like, he couldn't like scratch one side of his back. Like if the side of his back itched, he couldn't reach one arm across and get it. It would just he was way too thick, and not in the THICC damn girl way. He was just too thick. So now he's got that real wrestler's physique, and it benefited his look. It benefited his athleticism. And who knew? You don't have to cut promos in strongman competitions. I'm going to lift the shit out of that weight. Like, you don't have to do that. So he came out and he can talk. Who would have thought a guy that big? They usually, you look at a guy like that, he's a meathead. He's a dummy. He's not going to be able to put 3 words together. Yet here he is. And he's got his nipples pierced.
Yeah. So that's Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns can't put words together.
Bro. Yeah, okay, so can we just talk real quickly about this Roman Reigns steroid test comment? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that what the fuck was that, dude? Like
that's the company shooting themselves in the fucking foot. First of all, like, hey guys, remember this? Like, I had forgotten
for 30 days as champ.
Yeah, for real. I if you asked me about it, I would have. I forgot. It's been so long. I forgot.
I was like, that's a lame joke. And then someone's like, but he had the suspension. I'm like, oh, yeah.
About that.
Yeah, so, I mean, I get it. I get why that's a good sick burn, bro, or whatever. But
got burned, bro.
And it looks like they're trying to introduce more shooty stuff into the promos, like with The Miz and Enzo. And now with Roman Reigns and John Cena. But the problem is a lot of the stuff that John Cena is saying is justified.
Yeah.
Really justified. And then the Roman Reigns comeback isn't as justified. And I don't like the idea that they talked about putting on a better match. Whereas it took John Cena 15 minutes to beat Jason Jordan, but it took Roman Reigns 20 or whatever the hell it was. Roman Reigns took 5 minutes longer, and they had this whole argument about, well, and Roman Reigns' comeback was, well, I had the better match. I've been putting on better matches. It's not about, listen, we're not sitting there with a scorecard giving matches up or downs. I mean, there are critics that are, but to the average fan, the fan's not going out. Like, you ask a 6-year-old kid, he's not going to be like, that guy, I like his work rate, but I think his promo skills are just a little lacking. Like, that's not what a fucking kid's going to talk about.
I think that's also why they're more on social media feuding as well, because younger kids are there.
Yep. And that shit's lame. Roman Reigns is
that's where it originated. Yeah.
Weird on Twitter. Roman Reigns is a weirdo on Twitter. He yelled at somebody for being an atheist.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the guy is wilding out.
I haven't heard that expression in a while.
I'm bringing it back.
Wanted to leave Nick Cannon.
Yeah, leave Nick Cannon wherever he is, because I turned on America's Got Talent the other day, and
he's not there anymore. Thank God. I hate that.
No.
It's Tyra who's terrible live. I'm sorry, Tyra. She cannot read cue cards. It's just the thing. I don't know if she's nervous or if if they're scrolling the thing too fast. Because there's a guy. Usually, there's somebody manually controlling the teleprompter. So if they're going too fast, you can't read it. She's trying to read off phone numbers. It's just oh my God. I've only watched one episode of America's Got Talent this year, and it was that one. And she was just like
not a good entry.
No, but the acts were good. I like the ventriloquist girl. She can sing.
She's amazing.
That was interesting.
With her mouth closed. I mean,
she's incredible.
I don't know how she should win the whole thing.
I think she will.
Wasn't she the one with the puppet who hit on Simon?
Yeah.
Yes, she had the old lady puppet. Oh, the whole thing. What is she going to do next? That's the wonderful thing about that. And then if she loses, she's going to be the special guest GM of Raw. Could you imagine she's the next GM of Raw? Vince McMahon hires some little girl with a puppet to go out. Speaking of Vince McMahon, 10 minutes until the man himself arrives on SmackDown Live tonight.
Shit's about to go down.
Woo.
When Vince McMahon shows up on SmackDown, you know shit's about to go down. Shane, you're fired.
That was good.
I do miss that though. A good Vince chew out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he's gonna. Well, he is. He's gonna come out there. He's gonna do. He has to be the one to hype up this Hell in a Cell thing. That's what has to be why he's there. No, leave the man alone. He's 72.
No, you know Vince. You know he's gonna try and do.
Yeah, he's gonna take
He
something.
had Randy Orton kick him in the head.
Yeah, he did. He had that match with CM Punk where he had the 2 kendo sticks.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember. Do you remember the camera shaking because of how loud the crowd was during that segment?
Yeah.
CM Punk was so fucking over at that point.
It was amazing.
But you know what I'm saying.
Vince McMahon's gonna hype the shit out of this match. What was that?
Oh, I said, you know what I'm saying though. Vince, if it requires it, he will take a bump from Owens.
Oh, I'm sure. He's like, listen, give me the power bomb into the ring apron. You're 72 and you're gonna disintegrate. Give me a pop-up power bomb, damn it.
Dude, the moment when like he's talking to Daniel Bryan and he's like, "Oh, you're gonna bring your his sister down?" No, Mr. McMahon. I was like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
The mere mention of Mr. McMahon is just, you know.
Yeah, because now he's not a regular character. You don't. I mean, we've seen him once a year, maybe twice a year now.
Mm.
It's nice to have him back on the show. He's a unique guy because he was. What a maneuver! Did you see that one, Jesse? That was him for like years. And then he flipped the switch and just became a crazy bastard.
That wall where Bret Hart grabbed him was awesome.
Oh man, that was right at the beginning where they decided to go with that Vince McMahon being a Mr. McMahon character. Oh,
but it was
wonderful.
So just him shoving Bret.
Yeah, listen, it felt as real. Those things with Bret and Vince felt as real as anything could feel in wrestling.
But that's because it was real.
Yeah, with all the backstage shit that was going on with Shawn and Bret.
I'm sure there was emotions in there.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said I'm sure the emotions were there.
Yeah, there was a lot of real emotion. There was that one time where USA didn't. Glass case. All right, I'm gonna get to this point in a second. Bret Hart said shit on Raw, and they didn't bleep it out, and that was like one of the beginnings of the Attitude Era. So speaking of Ron Burgundy, I just figured out the other day that Fandango is just a Ron Burgundy impression.
What?
Oh, well, now that you say that,
like Fandango, not entirely, but like he's Ron Burgundy. He just kind of has the Ron Burgundy style and phrasing and the way he kind of talks. And
yeah, actually, oh my god.
I was like, wait a minute. And of course, we know Tyler Breeze is a wonderful take on Ben Stiller from Zoolander.
Yeah,
that's like his own little version of Zoolander.
Yeah.
Oh no, you know what? Here's the other thing I was thinking. They're both playing Ben Stiller because Tyler Breeze is playing Zoolander, and Fandango is actually playing White Goodman from Dodgeball. Now that's.
Nobody makes me bleed my own blood.
That is a Fandango thing. He would say that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's more accurate rather than Ron Burgundy. Maybe it's another Ben Stiller homage, and that's why they stuck the two guys together, because they're both doing Ben Stiller homages in their characters, which are great. They're gonna have another one tonight, right? Another Fashion Files.
They're finally gonna reveal.
They should.
It's gonna be the Authors of Pain.
Yeah.
It should be. I think that'd be great.
Well, they keep saying English and Shakespeare and this and that, and like they're really trying to tip off that it's Aiden English, but it's not. So anything that has to do with literature, I think it's leaning towards the Authors of Pain. I hope so, because those guys are great, and then we can have Paul Ellering back on TV.
Yes. Yes. Hey, listen, we got about 5 minutes left.
Oh, no.
I just want to also point out, Kat couldn't be with us tonight. Kat is also the one that does compile all the questions for us. So unfortunately, we do not have the questions that you sent in, and we know there were quite a number of them that were sent in. So keep sending them in. We're going to start the show next week where we're going to go through all the questions, and then we'll go from there. But keep sending them in because the questions keep getting better and better. So we'll spend a lot of time going through all the questions, and then of course we'll pick the one that gets the free entry into the Pick'em for No Mercy with Wrestle
That's
Rumble.
right.
So,
all right. So next week's going to be a mailbag. Woo!
I agree. And to all of those of you who are sending in these questions, I'm really proud of you. My God. I mean, these are
Yeah, we get some hard ones.
It makes me proud to be a wrestling fan. I'm serious. Like these are
Eric just sounded like a really motivational teacher in like an episode of Saved by the Bell.
But yes, I also live in a van down by the river.
A little sound effect at the end. You were very happy. That was sincere, guy. I don't know if you can tell. That was as sincere as you can get on a podcast. He's very happy with these.
I mean that sincerely. My little Salvatore sincere reference. Boy. Sorry about that.
So, as Steve mentioned, askthewarreport@gmail.com. Tag me a date on social media with the hashtag askthewarreport. We'll take a look at your questions there. And the question we deem, I don't know if it's going to be the best, the most difficult, the one we pick.
Worthy.
The one that we deem worthy, like the chalices in the Indiana Jones.
I was going to go
you
Thor.
Have chosen Thor. Oh, like with the hammer? Yes. So maybe you can wield the hammer of a free Wrestle Rumble pick. WrestleRumble.com is a WWE pay-per-view pick'em contest. And you can put in 1, 3, or 5 entries. WrestleRumble.com. What is it? Is the next one No Mercy?
Yeah.
All right. So what do we got? What do we have for Wrestle
prizes?
Rumble? No Mercy.
So first place, you get $500 and a month subscription to WrestleCrate.
Word.
Nice.
I like
which
that.
is pretty cool. Second place, you get $100 and 3 illustrations by Extra Cooler. You can check them out at Twitter at Extra Cooler.
Is that with an EX or is it with an X? Extra?
Yeah, EX. EXTRACOOLER.
Cool. All right.
And they do really cool draw illustrations. And then third to fifth place is $50, or third to sixth place, is $50 cash. And 7th to 10th is a free entry into the Hell in a Cell Pick'em, which is the following pay-per-view.
Very nice.
Drawings are cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the Extra Cooler Instagram.
Yeah, they're really cool.
They do the Doink pins. Okay, I've seen the Doink pin before. That's very cool. Yeah, and they've got they do some stuff for Joey Janela.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I dig it. I like their style. All right, so that's very cool that they're involved. So also, if you buy the 5 pick or the 5 entry pick'em, $5 of your purchase goes towards Real Men Wear Pink, which is an American Cancer Society breast cancer initiative. So very cool, worthy cause. WrestleRumble.com's Tag Me a Date is a proud sponsor of the Wrestle Rumble pay-per-view pick'ems for the foreseeable future. And once again, we're going to be giving out a free pick to the best / most difficult / worthy question from our mailbag, askthewarreport@gmail.com or hashtag askthewarreport. Steve, any other business you want to take care of before we close out this evening?
No, I pretty much said my piece.
All right, excellent. So, guess we should close out by saying thank you once again for listening to The War Report, brought to you by TagMeADate.com, the first and only dating site exclusively for professional wrestling fans, now with a roster of over 50,000 superstars and divas. For you to look through and find your tag team match, search by zip code, upload a promo video or a profile picture, get to chatting. The instant messenger function works very well. There's an Android app coming soon. Big things popping, little things dropping, etc., etc. at tagmeadate.com. Find your tag team match. And if you'd like the War Report and you enjoy our show, go to our channel on YouTube. So if you go to youtube.com, go to the search bar, type in Tag Me a Date with no spaces, Tag Me a Date, squish it all together, one word. You will find the Tag Me a Date channel with the archive of our past shows, as well as the schedule of our future shows, which they air live Tuesday evenings, 7 p.m. on Eastern Time. For those of you who may listen internationally, I don't know if we have any international people. We're going to have a daylight savings time change. It may or may not affect you. We'll announce that when it happens. Usually I don't know until the next day, and I look at my phone and freak out about the time. So we'll see how that goes. But we're always consistently 7 p.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. on Tuesday evening. So subscribe when you go to the Tag Me Date channel. You can hit the subscribe button. You can hit the bell to get alerted on your mobile device when we go live or when we upload a video. And that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Check out tagmeadate.com. Check out WrestleRumble.com. And we'll be back with the War Report live on YouTube next Tuesday. Good evening, everybody.